Welcome everyone to this new class on simplicity. The Siddhi for today is about simplicity. A quality too often dismissed. As usual, I will allow time for everyone to log in, to those who are live, the translators to set up. So pay attention inside and get ready for class. Put yourself in the mood where you are really with me. If you want to benefit the most of this class, sit up straight. Don't be all pushed looking at your phone like that, although I won't judge you if you do. But you'll benefit more if you feel present, well seated. It's just going to bring more benefits. As usual, for a class in the middle of summer, there will be less participants live, but that's okay. Most will watch the recording. I'm a bit perfectionist with these things. It has to be straight, but happens. Focus inside and pay attention to your personality, your person. Simplicity. In Sanskrit, there are a dozen of words for simplicity or simple. One of which is Nilambaradaram. and that one means without baradaram, without badum trouble, sounds, resistance, and battles. Okay, but they call it Nilambaradaram, which is funny. There's a word for simplicity that means childish, naive, innocent. So more like simple-minded in this way. There's a word for simplicity that means stupid. Simple, like someone who is not intelligent, stupid. And there's another one for idiot. There's literally a word for simplicity in the sense that you're stupid. And another one for simplicity that you're an idiot. An idiot is not someone stupid. It's someone who makes stupid choices. We call that an idiot. So there's a lot of these words for simplicity. It's impressive. I forgot most of them. But AvyAja, it's not AvyAja, it's AvyAja. Try to focus on the second A. AvyAja. This is simplicity from the lack of artificial. No pretending, nothing. And that's the one we want to study and practice. Simplicity from not pretending, not being pretentious, but also not being in a fantasy, not pretending. Being just as we are. And having no artificial components in our behavior. Okay, no fake. What does that mean? It's nice to learn it, but what does it mean? Simplicity is to say things as they are. But there's a power inside us that is afraid of the consequence. Okay, there's an emotion system, there's an entire ego that is afraid of the consequence of being simple. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. You want something, you can just go to the person that can provide it and say, I would like that. Please, if you're polite. Now, sometimes it's as simple as that, especially with children, with their parents. Mom, Dad, I want fruit, whatever, candy. And the parents will provide or not. That's easy. Now, in your job, if you just go see your boss and you say, I want to be promoted now. I don't know if it works that way. Could be. Could be simple to just say it. I'm ready for a promotion. I believe I can have a promotion. Is it really simple? Well, are you pretentious? Or are you pretending? Do you really deserve a promotion? Or is it just like an air of superiority? Is there even a promotion spot available at your work? I mean, simplicity is not only about what you want and saying what you want. Okay, simplicity is just being there with no pretension and not pretending. There's a difference between both. Pretentious is finding yourself more valuable than you actually are. That's usually a facade. And no pretending, sometimes we pretend in our head. Okay, we pretend something. We're not honest with ourselves. Okay. So just going to see your boss and say, I deserve a promotion. I think your boss will know when you deserve a promotion. That's his job. And it's not always simple. Your boss can be bought, can be bribed by other teammates, those who play golf. Because everybody believed they deserve a promotion. Everybody believed they would be a better manager. Everybody, like almost. One day I got to a point of saying, I don't want a management job. I don't want a management job. I don't want a promotion. Because it comes with responsibilities. It's okay if the other does it his way. And of course I became the head of Maria. I manifested the management job. Which is fun. Simplicity, being just as you are. Not pretending, not lying to yourself, not being artificial, and not being pretentious to others. I believe I was 16 years old in my computer science class. And I already knew how computers worked. But that was 34 years ago. No, 34 years ago. Computers were just starting in schools. Like most schools didn't have them. And we were like the advanced school that had, it was high school. And there were computers. But I had been playing with computers since the age of 5. Because my dad bought the first computer ever produced for commercial purposes. To be sold to the public. So I knew how to program little things and was already skilled, which brought a lot of vanity in me. You know, a teenager boasts of what he's good at. So sometimes I literally said out loud, "Oh, I'm good with this. Like I'm good with computers, and I'm good with this programming language." And the problem is, I didn't say it contextually when it was required for someone to know who's good with computers. Like if someone asks, you just say it. Simplicity is like, if someone needs to know who is good with computers, you say, hey, I'm good with computers, I can do that. But if no one's asking, saying it just to let people know I needed a place, I needed a value, I needed to be loved for something or be given a purpose, actually made most people uncomfortable and jealous, because everyone was trying to learn. And I was just boasting. The teacher came to me alone. He says, let me tell you something very important. Never say you're good at something. You don't need to say it. If you're good at something, people will know. And if you're good at something and you're useful and you're there to help, they will tell you that you're good at that thing. Oh, you're good at that. You don't need to tell it. Okay. I found that so interesting. I found it so awakening. You see, I had a moment of personal growth. Because I didn't take it like I was chastised. I took it like, oh shit, yeah. My gears started running and I went like, when you're 16 and you see a super beautiful lady and you become dumbfounded. Well, in this case, I became dumbfounded in the corridor with the teacher, like, after he told me that, like, wow. And he told me, he saw me like frozen. It's like, okay. Think about it. And he went away. And I just said, yeah. And I just stood there, making the links in my head. I had caused grief to others. Like, there's a reason why sometimes they were aggressive or didn't look at me, didn't want to hang out with me. Because I had produced rejection for myself by boasting. Now, I did not know the word simplicity as a behavior, but that's what I realized. I didn't become simple so fast, but it was a good first step in discovering simplicity. Don't say you're good. Be good at something and they will know. And that was the end of me saying out loud, I'm good at things. Unless it was required, like you have a job interview, they want to know what you're good at. So you say it, but it's simple. You don't say it to brag. You say it to be useful for the employer, for example. So it's still pretentious, but in my head, I didn't say it. I still believed that I was better than others. I had no sense of equity or giving a chance to the others and respecting that others have good skills too. Others can be good. So I was still artificial and pretentious. I would not boast out loud, but I was still pretentious. And then eventually I realized people have a reaction. Like when I was a teenager, I was like young adult, early 20s. I realized people at work didn't like me, didn't like my attitude. Well, some took me as I am, some enjoyed me, but some didn't. And I realized, okay, I'm not simple. I'm not just being myself. I hope I will be seen. So you see, these are the patterns that we have inside, and sometimes we carry them until we're, 50, because I still saw some of those recently. Hoping to be seen, hoping to get positive attention, hoping to be heard and understood. So basically, what prevents us from being simple? It's that power inside us that needs to be more than ourselves, that needs to be heard, seen, valued. Often in seminar, I would say, if you want to be loved, become awesome. Be an awesome person. And an awesome person is a person that contributes. You are there for the benefit of others. The result of which, they will like you for what they get out of you. You want to be loved? Be lovable. Be a person that can be loved by others. If you just silently manipulate the love towards you, it's not simple. It's complicated. It's arrogant. If you want to be heard, be certain that you are saying something that is worth hearing. And for that, your mind has to be on what the other wants to hear or need to hear, if they really want to hear it from you. And then respect if they don't want to hear you. If you want to be appreciated, you have to give others a reason to appreciate you. Just making an effort and hope to be appreciated, I hope I'll be appreciated, it builds a power inside that we will be artificial. We won't be ourselves. It will not be simple. You see, it will be challenging to discover what simplicity is. Always is challenging. AvyAja is a Siddhi where you contemplate simplicity while you accept that there are still patterns in your ego that will try to get from others something. Motivated by greed, not an evil greed, just a innocent greed, an immature greed. Like, I just want to be loved without doing anything lovable, like without doing something for others to love me. I just want to be loved. AvyAja. When you contemplate the Siddhi, you contemplate the word simplicity in your home language. Simplicity. And you accept that there are patterns that will make an effort to be complicated, that are artificial, that are not just you, that hopes to get something out of others. And simplicity can feel lonely at first. When you have when you have depended on manipulation and control patterns to get from others a reaction, appreciation, interaction. And simplicity will be you just there, and now you will count on others wanting to interact with you of their own free will, where you won't try to control or manipulate them. You'll just be yourself, and the others will see if they want to interact with you. And in simplicity, you would just go to people and say, hey, I'm trying to make friends here. You just say it. You say what need you have. It sounds weird, but you just express once without insisting ever. You just throw it out there. Hey, courting, a bit harder. If you go see a person, if in public, you just throw out, I'm single and available. You just do it once. You don't boast. You don't make an effort. You just let people know. You put single on your various profiles on social media, but you're not making an effort. In courting, if you go see a person directly, say, hey, you're attractive, I want to be with you. That works for the very beautiful people, usually young. And if the other person, the other man or woman says, oh, sure, it's because they only looked at you physically anyway, and they don't care about your personality. So for courting, don't go out and just say it. For courting, you make yourself useful. You make yourself known as a reliable, productive person, caring, strong when it's required. And there will be people who will get attracted to you. And then you can just say it to whomever. So unless you're a super young and sexy and fit person, being direct doesn't work with courting. And it doesn't matter. Because what you need is to be lovable. You just act in a way that contributes and helps. And, globally, without insisting, make it known, not to a particular person, but just like in general. Like, you're single. And then you'll see what happens, okay? But it's still simple. It's just being yourself, and you let whoever can be attracted to you come. And at one point, you might be afraid of rejection, but if you see hints of interest, you can say it. So that was my little parenthesis on courting. Show your value. Make yourself known as a wonderful person. So that's my trick for the young people who will boast, who will be pretentious and complicated. Simplicity. It will actually work faster. It will be easier. Okay? Simplicity. Nothing artificial. No boasting or pretension. Be someone worth being with. Also work with friends. Friendship will be easier if you show that you're a person worth being with as a friend. Now that's my trick for the middle-aged and elders. Friendship. Friendship is the key to simplicity, happiness, peace. It's all there. Just make friends. To understand and discover simplicity, you'll have to accept that in your mind and in your heart, in your guts, there's an animal power that hunts, that wants something from the world. You have to understand the hunter. You hunt for food, for a place, for friends, and for a lover. You hunt. You hunt for a job. You hunt for a position. The hunter is just ready to deploy an enormous amount of effort, which is good when it is applied with simplicity, focused like a marksman. You go for what you want, and you get it by doing what is required. Not to control or manipulation, to force the world to give it to you, but by making the world realize you're the person who should have it. Okay, whatever it is that you want, a job or a thing, an object, a position in society. For that, you really need to have the skills and the competence, for real. You can't be just a pretender. You really need to have the skills. So, hey, let's open another parenthesis. That's fun. People with success are usually people who focus on educating themselves with a bit of entertainment, but the focus is education. And people with little success spent their life focusing on entertainment and not much on education. A bit of education, but not that much. So someone with little success is always thinking about, the new video game, the new TV show that comes out, the new thing they can do to entertain themselves, and and how the world works and the mechanics of the person inside, and the physics and the science. They don't really care. They're mostly focused on entertaining. And then too much entertainment, it unbalances the dopamine and serotonin in the brain, and emotionally it makes you just want to feel the next thrill, and you're not developing more competence. So of course you'll have less place in the world, and you'll have tendencies to be more depressive. Okay, so that's important to understand that dynamic. I spent the first 40 years of my life mainly on educating myself with some entertainment, because it's good to have a balance. But I was so focused on educating myself, just learning, constantly trying a new thing, constantly discovering something new. And now I'm going to have a balanced life. I'm going to spend the next 40 years of my life focusing mostly on entertainment. No, that's not true at all. I focus on entertainment during that short period where I needed a break from being performant. Learning without effort, without pressuring yourself, but learning as a general state of being keeps your mind active, keeps you proud of yourself. It keeps your gaze on yourself like, yeah, I've done yet another thing. Even if the learning process is slow, it's progress. So it changes the image of yourself. And learning doesn't have these rushes of dopamine like when you have entertainment. So your serotonin is more balanced. Because when you have a rush of dopamine, the equivalent dopamine you have, your serotonin lowers. Okay? So moments of great joy is dopamine. General happiness in life is serotonin. So the more rushes of excitement you have in life, the less soft happiness you'll have in life. Okay? So that's just a good thing to know about dopamine and serotonin. If you give yourself intense rushes of dopamine all the time, you'll see that your serotonin is low and your life is empty. So you'll always be counting on the next rush of dopamine. So you become an addict of dopamine. Because when you're not in a dopamine rush, your serotonin is so low. Okay, so what can you do? Simple activities. Focus on learning, not reading books, but it can be physical. Okay, focus on an art thing, like how to paint, how to build stuff with wood, whatever you can afford. You'll have less rush of dopamine, but while you learn and practice, you'll see yourself fail, but you'll see that you get better over time. And you'll produce stuff that you can be proud or not. It doesn't matter. But your serotonin, since you won't have that much rush of dopamine, your serotonin will start to rise slowly. It's a long process. But general sense of peace will settle. Before you can have a soft happiness all the time, you'll have a soft peace. Okay? Peace before happiness. Okay? And that's really important. Peace. I'm not happy, but I'm not troubled. That's a very great way to live life. Yeah, things as they are. And then you have little moments of happiness. And sometimes you have a rush of dopamine, but mostly you keep it soft and simple. Simplicity will balance your dopamine and serotonin. Yes, it will. Go do an activity that is extremely simple. Go walk. Every day, go walk. 5, 10 minutes, 20. Then you can push it for half an hour. Walk. It's not productive, but it keeps your heart pumping softly, slowly but surely, it does something good inside. And walking is half hour where your mind is not filled with entertainment. It's just the world. Spending time in nature, especially if you're always in the city, spending some time in nature. Great master Sri Kaleshwar, who is accomplished now, he would say if you're in depression, you need to spend a minimum of 3 days in nature with no electronic technology. Just be in nature and do simple activities. That will balance your depression. Nature will take your depression away. And of course, they were mystical. He's a Brahmanical Hindu guy. But I understand what he meant. Like, you just let nature take it out. And the problem with the dopamine addict is that there won't be any rush of dopamine for 3 days. It's gonna hurt. Like a withdrawal symptom. Yeah. But after a while, you'll feel so good about it. You'll feel great. Okay. So these are just examples to help you understand simplicity. And at the hormonal level, dopamine versus serotonin. Little rushes that you need again and again. One of my students from a long time ago, he told me that he masturbated 5 times a day and he couldn't stop because it's the only time that he felt alive. Otherwise, he was dead inside. I told him, I understand, and it's a suffering. The trick is to just stop and go through withdrawal and spend time in nature and focus on nature. And if you can educate yourself on nature and try stuff in nature, how to build a fire, how to just be there, live in a tent, and do something that takes a lot of hours outside in nature, if you can afford it. Of course, he was broke as hell, so he just walked in nature. That was my counseling, and it took a while. But eventually, it helped him. He realized he was looking for the next rush of dopamine. For some, it's the next TV series, the next video game. For some, it's the next orgasm. It can be in drugs. It can be in so many things, but it's a big rush. In spiritual classes, in my seminars, I show people how to have an explosion of bliss sometimes. And it's nice to have an explosion of bliss. Love, joy, bliss being absorbed. It's great. And then I teach, if you only do explosions of bliss, love, joy, if you only do that, you'll make yourself depressed. You'll show yourself that it's the only moment that you're happy. And then you won't be able to find the simple peace, the long-lasting, very soft joy, which is just peace and a little tad in the joy field. So it's good to have explosions, to feel alive, to go towards that bliss. But that is not simple. That's an effort to be in a state that is not naturally you. The simplicity is peaceful and calm. Focus on education, and I'm not talking school. I'm talking about doing something that you like, that takes a few hours, not just 5 minutes, but it takes time, and you get to practice a skill. So you can be dumb as hell regarding school and the intellectual standards of this society. and still practice a skill and get better at it slowly but surely. That is a way to practice simplicity. And you don't boast. Okay? So simplicity is hard to achieve because it's not artificial. It's not explosive moments of joy and bliss, although they're acceptable. It's not explosions of dopamine, of entertainment and fake thrill, although once in a while it's quite fun and you should do it. But if you depend on it, you're just killing your serotonin. So don't do that. And to be able to focus on long periods without a rush of entertainment. Just being there in nature or in your street in the city, walking, and not needing the attention of others, not needing a place in the world. And if inside you seek so much to be heard and to be seen by others, you look at it, you mourn it, and you think, if I want to be seen by others, I have to give others the desire to look at me. But I can't force them to see me. I have to make it that they will see me. So you start to take theater class, the art of acting, not as an arrogant way, but as an actual entertainment, but a way to learn how to act. You know, you take acting class. And then you say, but I don't know how to act. That's why they're called classes, okay? You need to be seen. Go work with, I don't know how to say it in English, voluntary work. You just go somewhere where someone needs people to just help, and you help out. Like maybe the local kitchen or, anywhere. Just go, be useful to someone, and you'll have people looking at you and say, thank you so much. You want to be seen? Get in a position that you're not trying to be seen, but in your way to be useful, you will be gazed upon, and there will be gratitude towards you because you're just going to be there. That's what matters. Just be there, all right? Simplicity is going to be a challenge. Just being there without artificial behaviors, without pretentious or pretension, with no fantasy in your mind, just taking it easy and doing an effort when it is required. Simplicity, just being there, being yourself. All right? Oh, that was a big thing. Let's practice the Siddhi for a minute itself. AvyAja. I let go of the theatricals. AvyAja. I let go of my vanity. AvyAja. Simplicity in my behavior. AvyAja. Simplicity in my activities. AvyAja. Simplicity in the core of my being. What must I mourn to be simple? AvyAja. And if I'm at this point of my life that I have everything to discover, a lifetime before me and everything to discover, I'll do it simply. I'll discover. And if I'm at this point of my life that I'm dying, there's sickness all over the place, then I'll accept it simply. I'll do what is required to maintain the health that I have. But otherwise, stop fighting with the inevitable, but invest yourself in your health when it's worth it. And be simple, not be dramatic about life and death. Just take it simply. This is where I'm at in life now. If you're middle-aged and you're lost and you don't know what's your part in life, just be simple. Just be simple. Your place in life will be obvious when you just accept what it is. And when you contribute and become useful to others, it gets better. What must I mourn to be simple? Just take things as they are. Just accept it. It's okay. AvyAja, simplicity. AvyAja, simplicity. AvyAja, simplicity. I hope this class was useful on your quest to a simple, happy life. Peace.